monster win at DePaul has this club, well, they're pointed in the right direction, and the Huskies are playing Final Four ball. Meanwhile, the Louisville Cardinals have something to prove. After dropping their last two, they want to protect a 10-game home court winning streak. It's Connecticut, Louisville, and all that jazz next on CSTV. The Big East will showcase some of its brightest stars tonight, and the stage is historic Freedom Hall, home of the Louisville Cardinals. Tonight, those Cards will host the University of Connecticut in another Big East Women's Showdown right here on CSTV. Good evening, everybody. I'm Schatz, joined as always by my broadcast partner, Debbie Antonelli. And can't you just feel it right here in Freedom Hall? I mean, you've got a club on a roll. That's UConn against a club that's very, very good at home. And, of course, that's Louisville.
Boy, and Louisville should be excited. They've got the #4 team in the country. This is the highest-ranked team they've ever played. The building is going to be packed. It's going to be a really fun environment. And Connecticut is that good. They're #4. They're tough.
All right, with the stretch run of the season upon us, it's kind of time to start looking at some postseason hopes. And when you talk about the Big East, this is a conference that has been represented very well in the NCAA.
Well, there's great teams in the league, there's no question, and part of the reason why these teams have been able to make so many NCAA tournament appearances is because they have been loaded with talent. Connecticut at the top of that list. Barbara Turner, the senior for Connecticut, at 6 feet tall, can be punishing on the block. She's fantastic on the finish and transition. She gives them play and presence on both ends of the floor. She is a dynamic scorer, and they're going to need her offensive punch in the game today. Jazz Covington, a junior. She's on the Wooden list. She's on the Naismith list, and she's very deserving of that. She has an inside-outside game. She can be strong on the inside, good on the defensive end, and if Louisville's going to have any chance, Jazz Covington has to have a huge game.
Jazz Covington and her entire supporting cast will have to be awfully special tonight because UConn has been playing some of its best basketball of the season. It's going to be a fun one. We've got it next. Stick around. NCAA basketball on CSTV is brought to you by Nissan and by Xbox Live. It's good to play together. Welcome back to Freedom Hall. 4th-ranked UConn in town to test Louisville and that strong home record. Cards being introduced. House lights down. There we go. All right, time for starting lineups first for the visiting Huskies. Freshman Renee Montgomery anchors the backcourt with sharpshooting Mel Thomas. Rounding out that 3-guard lineup. Down low, Barbara Turner. We've heard a lot about her. Strother, she'll hurt you in so many different ways. This man needs no introduction. Yes, sir. Just go by his first name, Geno Auriemma, in his 21st year with UConn. Simply put, none better. 576 career wins, all those national titles, 5 in all, 14 Big East crowns. On the other side of the fence, a very tough Louisville club. 3-guard lineup as well with some quicks and Neal and Huggins. Cards get their points from their bigs, Missy Taylor and the ever-dangerous Jazz Covington. Tom Collin, 3rd year with Louisville, doing a fantastic job, making his presence felt with consecutive postseason appearances, including last year's trip to the NCAA tournament. You know, these two clubs, Deb, have met only one time, and that was way back in that NCAA tournament in '93 where the Cards beat Geno's Huskies, but you can't blame her.
Well, she had a big game. That's Jamel Elliott, the longtime assistant coach for Geno Auriemma, responsible for the post players for Connecticut. What a great player and what a great career Jamel had at Connecticut.
21 points, 15 boards, and 1 assist in that loss, and of course casing a championship season, and one of those great assistants that Geno has prowling the sidelines along with him. All right, here we go. UConn and the visiting Blues. Louisville, of course, wearing their home whites with red trim.
You got to know where Mel Thomas is. She is the 2nd best 3-point shooter in the nation. That's her with the basketball on the wing.
Turner's so tough inside. You mentioned she can finish. There you go.
It's just all about raw power and outworking people block to block. That's the kind of offensive game Barbara Turner has.
Nice inside look. Missy Taylor, yes, sir.
Great screen by Connie Neal to free up Taylor to the basket. That's the kind of execution Louisville needed to start the game. You know, there's a lot of jitters playing Connecticut in front of this crowd.
Strother answers, sweet shot.
Rand Strother at 6'3", and Mel Thomas are two of the best shooters in the country on the wings for anybody. They call this the 4-guard lineup Geno Auriemma starts with. It puts Strother in the inside with Turner.
Neal unable to connect from downtown.
And when you're playing at home and you've got a huge crowd, you've got to execute right away. And you see the up screen by Neal and the back cut to the basket by Taylor. Great finish by Louisville.
There's Mel Thomas, three-pointer way off. Nice board work there by Katie Olson.
And this is who they want to have the basketball. Jazz Covington, because of that.
And why not?
15-footer face up on the baseline, and then you have to sprint. Connecticut can get it out of the nets quickly.
Strother downtown again. Nice one and done there. Taylor with the board work. I love the way Covington has really developed that outside shot as well, Deb.
Well, she worked all offseason on her face-up game. She got an invite to USA Basketball. She didn't make the team, but she was impressed enough with the invite. She's like, wow, I'm going to be able to go and play against Simone Augustus and Monique Curry, Cappy Pondexter.
That's big time, and so was that move by Taylor. Nice step through.
And Missy Taylor gives him some inside-outside scoring ability. Good three-point range does Taylor have. It should be a nice matchup watching her and Ann Strother, both with size, shoot threes.
She's got 4 already. Renee Montgomery. How about the box outs by Louisville, Deb?
See, right now they're executing very well. They spent a lot of time working on their defense and shoot-around this afternoon.
They'd love to keep the score low. Tempo in their favor. There's Huggins.
Her 6th three-pointer of the season. That just shows you right there how ready Louisville is.
Huggins, that lightning quick guard, but she can also hurt you from the outside, and both clubs starting off pretty well, especially Louisville.
And Louisville matching up in the zone, doing a good job getting out on shooters.
Look at Turner. I mean, that's a blind and wide open look. Strother can't finish it, excuse me, Wolf, but what a great feed. Olsen is trapped. Somehow gets out of the mess and scores.
Well, she split the trap, and Connecticut knocked it out of her hands. That's why they didn't call traveling.
Did a nice job sticking with the play. 11-4, Louisville with the early lead. Sometimes Wolf won't score a lot of points, but she'll hurt you in other ways. Nice offensive board and a fresh 30.
Well, she has really become their defensive stopper on the perimeter. Geno Auriemma likes her in that role.
How about Renee again from downtown? You better honor that outside shot.
She is really gaining confidence. A freshman, it takes time, especially when you're a point guard and you're trying to run Geno Auriemma's system. She's really becoming comfortable. She's getting better on the ball defensively. She's not afraid to take the open shot.
She wanted that starting job when she came to camp. She got it, and in effect made Soigné, who we'll see, I'm sure, shortly, a better backup point guard. Neal, that shot was blocked. Or was it, Deb?
Well, the shot clock was running down, and Neal had to force it.
Both clubs red hot, just the way we like it. Louisville with the early lead. UConn starting to heat up. Tom Collin likes what he sees. Back to Freedom Hall. Hey, University of Louisville, what a fine university this is. Nice enrollment, of course. Johnny Yu, you got to remember him and the great author Sue Grafton. And the volleyball team just had a magnificent season. NCAA Sweet 16. You know, we saw that club a lot on CSTV. They just went on a roll. And Tom Collin, when you talk to him, Deb, about the fact that this is a step to the Big East, he loves the fact that there's more exposure and the recruiting possibilities are endless for a guy that loves to recruit.
Well, he's done a nice job with the transition, that's for sure. I mean, this is a Louisville team that went to the NCAA tournament last year. They're going again this year. I think they're that good. Jazz Covington takes their game to a different level. And so does Charde Houston, who just stepped into the game. Now, you talk about somebody that can score.
Look out. Mel Thomas with a great look inside. The defense fell asleep just a bit. 11-9. Louisville's lead shrinking. That ball tipped. Olsen almost lost it. Covington muscles it in. She'll draw the foul.
And that's what Jazz Covington can do. She's got Charde Houston on her, who is a good defender when Geno Auriemma says she wants to be. And she has the assignment of trying to contain Covington, who's very good at getting to the free throw line. That time, Connecticut in a man-to-man defensively, mixing it up.
Houston, of course, with her first foul just checking in. Team's first foul as well. 3 points now for Covington. 6'1" junior out of Georgia. She was on the map quite a bit as far as Conference USA was concerned, but you're right, Deb. That USA invitation was so big for her, and so is playing in the Big East. 13-9 is our count. Very entertaining start to this ball game. Both clubs at their best. Wide open Strother. She's been long on both of her bombs, but again, UConn comes away with it. Charde stripped.
Connie Neal getting a hand in there on the strip.
Huggins thinking about going to the rack. Instead, gives it up to Taylor. Yes, sir.
Missy Taylor spent a lot of extra time shooting after practice today, and it paid off right there.
She's got 7 points so far. Not half bad. Charde, nice spin move. So active, Deb.
Charde Houston, her game has great offensive range to it. You have to guard her to off the bounce right now because she's very good at getting into the lane.
Taylor goes high for that pass. Huggins wide open.
Back-to-back threes for Louisville, and the second one for Huggins.
Boy, the crowd is digging the effort from beyond the arc. Charde, sweet move.
Charde Houston has the ability to create separation off the dribble. That's why you saw Covington give her a little space at the top.
Angle just wasn't quite there. Turnover. Montgomery wants to beat everybody down the floor. Louisville transitions well defensively. There's Barb, sweet spot. Her buddy finds her.
Oh, it's just great timing on the flash. Reverse the basketball, cut to the ball from weak side.
Nice patience from Strother, knowing that Barb was going to make that cut too. Taylor was hot early. Gives it up to the scoring machine.
Sagging man by Connecticut.
With 6 on the clock. Neal, way off. Soignier coming in for UConn. Crockett as well for the Huskies. Barlow entering the lineup for Louisville. Helen Johnson checking in as well. Tokova, the talented sophomore out from across the pond, the Ukraine, is coming in for Louisville as well. Wholesale substitutions by both coaches. Feeling it just a bit, wouldn't you say?
Boy, looking good, really taking the right shots. Renee Montgomery had a chance to shoot that earlier and waited to make the defense D up a little.
Couple of threes, Deb.
From someone you wouldn't expect from Connecticut.
There you go.
You expect Mel Thomas and Ann Strother to hit the threes.
Soignier, Renee Montgomery on the floor at the same time. Do you like that backcourt?
I do like it for quickness, and when you're playing on the road, you have to have good guard play. Especially when you put Wilnette Crockett on the floor, which is somebody that can take away mistakes off dribble penetration.
Louisville down by 3, hoping to up that lead. One and done there. Crockett, you mentioned her with the rebound. McCautry had checked into the lineup for Louisville as well. One of those junkyard dogs that's very dangerous for the Cards. Soignier. Louisville doing a nice job on the defensive boards. Here comes Barlow. dish, and we'll go the other way. McCautry once in a while can be out of control, but that's the kind of flash that she'll show. Taking one from the team. Sounds like a Crockett move to me. 19-16, Cards leading. When you tee it up at Freedom Hall, you expect some great basketball, and we're getting that tonight. Louisville leading UConn, 4th-ranked UConn, by the way, 19-16. Missy Taylor is a big reason, Deb, why I think Louisville's been really hot out of the chutes.
Well, and she showed us the entire offensive skill set, her ability to work without the basketball off screens. And how about the post-up move? Strong against 6'3" and Strother, and then her ability to shoot the three and stretch the defense. She's a player who has not missed from the floor, but gives Louisville some versatility in her offense, because at 6'3" she can play inside. She also has range outside, and Louisville's going to switch up their D. Play a little half court.
And true enough, McCautry gets a wing on it, but Charde is able to finish on the other end.
See, that's the smart thing. You attack the basket. Once you throw over the top of that first wave of pressure, you look right at the rim. That's so instinctive for Charde Houston.
Boy, she's just got a nose for the basket, doesn't she?
She's strong. She can get to the hole.
That ball is blocked. Charde got a piece of that. Scramble for the ball. The great thing about Houston, Deb, is she blocks the shot and immediately releases. She was thinking of 2 right away.
Well, she's coming off a 16-point performance in a win at DePaul, where Connecticut broke DePaul's 33 home game winning streak, the longest active at that time.
And her focus is so much better. 2 on the clock. Does Barlow know it? Wild scrum for that ball. It's going to stay right here. Fresh 30 for the Cards.
When you watch Charde Houston play, and you know, if she hits her first shot, you got a feeling she's going to give Geno Auriemma numbers in the rest of the game. You know, in the right side of the box score, rebounding, assists, deflections, making plays.
She has taken a renewed pride, too, I think, in her defensive assignments as well.
Look at Connecticut picking up their pressure on the ball.
Well, they're really making it tough to find the shots, as evidenced by that errant toss by McCautry.
I like Soigné and Montgomery playing.
I do too.
I think it gives them great quickness, good leadership on the floor, good defensive tone set out front.
You've got the quicks of a Soigné and a little more offensive-minded from Montgomery, and the strength of Charde Houston.
And she is demanding the basketball. She's calling for it. Hands and numbers to the ball. Showing hard on the block.
Taylor, it's been a while. Louisville have missed their last 6 shots, and she just cleans up the mess.
But her extra shooting is definitely paying off. I mean, you can see the confidence.
Double figures already for Taylor. And here comes Louisville on the steal. Johnson goes hard to the rack. Yes, sir!
Helen Johnson is a JUCO All-American. She is a power guard. She can play both positions for Tom Collin, but she is strong in finishing in transition.
You talk about an Xbox Live replay. How about it, Deb?
With contact, the ability to hang, use the glass and finish. Coming off the 3 by Taylor. It's a steal on the defensive end, and Louisville gets a transition opportunity.
Tom says that Louisville needs her to be on the floor to be a top 25 type club. She showed you why right there.
And they're really close to getting ranked, too. They have been never been ranked in the history of their program. Tom Collin has them right on the edge.
He said he was going to come in here and establish a top 20, top 25 program. You're right.
Well, he's doing it. He's doing a good job. 7 consecutive 20-win seasons. Look at Houston.
Holy smokes, Deb. That's 10 points for her off the bench, just like that. Didn't even start, and she's got 10.
In about 5 minutes, she scored 10 points.
What an entertaining game this has been. Both teams showing their A games offensively. 25-22, Cards with the lead. Johnson with the pull-up. Rim didn't want it. There's McCautry. Stays with it. Play on. Soigné with the little dump. And with the roar, the folks wanted to block, but there will be a foul called, and Barb will go to the line. Tokova whistled for that.
And Tom Collin thinks McCautry was fouled on the other end on the glass, but watch right here, no question the body.
Question.
You know, and Barb Turner is so strong that most people would have been knocked to the floor on that. She makes it look like it's not a foul because of her strength.
So smooth. She, Strother, Wolf, that senior leadership that's been so important. As Thomas checks back in for UConn. Montgomery with a nice shift will take a seat. Barb just does what she does, and that's a little bit of everything, and oftentimes a lot of bit of everything, huh?
She's talented, and she plays both ends. She gives them great leadership. She means business when she's out there.
Yeah.
You don't mess around with Barbara Turner.
UConn bringing on the heat. Better find a point guard. There you go. Johnson way off. Connecticut looking for some transition. Strother wide open to the corner, short. And there's Charde. Wow.
She is putting on a clinic right now. Strong.
You know, folks will say that Strother's been struggling a little bit from the outside, but you've got the Barb Turners getting Conference Player of the Week. You've got Charde playing lights out, and everybody else doing a little bit of something to help out.
6 for 7 from the floor is Charde Houston.
Unbelievable.
And all tough shots, contested.
The kind of first half that the entire country got to see against LSU. Johnson, late call, but she'll take it. Charde Houston has gotten top billing. All that high school hype, she's living up to it in this her second year. She has been unstoppable and awfully, awfully good. Early on, Louisville held a 9-4 lead and so red hot out of the chutes. UConn, thanks to Charde Houston, has come back to grab that lead by Singleton. She's been awesome, Deb.
Well, her season high is 22. The last time she had that was playing Louisville. But tonight she's 6 for 7, 12 points already in a little over 5 minutes of game time. You can't get more efficient than that. She's been aggressive. She's been on the glass. She's played the entire offensive skill set so far. You know, she's been good off the bounce. She's offensive rebounding. She's giving Connecticut effort on both ends of the floor tonight.
I like the fact that earlier on you pointed out that she's in the passing lane, getting some deflections, already come up with the block. Everything. Whole package. So Louisville playing catch-up for the first time with 7:15 left.
See, that's who they need to have the basketball in her hands is Jazz Covington. They need to find a way to get her the ball.
We haven't called her name in a while. She nor Taylor.
There she is setting the screen.
Boy, hip check there. UConn loses it and wide open. You know who.
She hedges. That's what you call a big fat hedge off that ball screen. Because she jumps out in the passing lane and just strips it.
You heard it here first. You don't just hedge. That's a big fat hedge. Thanks, Deb.
That is terrific defense by Charde Houston. Covington held the screen too long. She better slip that next time because she'll be open if Charde's going to jump out that far.
And somehow, some way, there's got to be an angle to get that ball into Covington.
When you hedge, you're trying to arc the dribbler. If you get a chance to steal it, well, that's even better. Look at Houston. Great finish. That's getting offense from her defense. I don't know what she hasn't done so far in the game.
Happy to come to you from Louisville, Kentucky. Freedom Hall, home of those Cards of Louisville and Schatz along with Debbie Antonelli. It's a treat to give you this great Big East matchup. Huskies, of course, wearing their visiting blues. Cardinals in their home whites, and Louisville pretty tough early on in the paint, but they've gone silent, and Charde and company have taken over.
And see, this is what I like about Connecticut's offensive system. They know Charde has the hot hand. Geno Auriemma calls her number. It's an unselfish, very good passing basketball team.
And there's Thomas stepping in front of that pass. Doesn't have numbers. Let's see what she does. Strother has been cold from the outside, so why not go in?
Right, instead of shooting the face-up jump shot, Ann Strother has an opportunity to put it on the floor and take it hard to the goal. Good defense by Mel Thomas on one end of the floor, allows Connecticut to get back-to-back transition buckets.
Thomas, again, little things, and Strother taking care of it.
She catches it and sweeps it through and attacks the baseline. Because Louisville doesn't sprint back to the paint and is still trailing the play, she's got an open lane.
We got to remind you that coming up after basketball, it's a wrestling battle for the ages. For the ages, as the Minnesota Golden Gophers take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Who will gain the upper hand in this battle of Big Ten superpowers? Find out as Minnesota takes on Penn State. That's wrestling, and it comes your way right here on CSTV next.
Connecticut plays with 5 people on the floor that can score at all times. That's part of the balance that makes them dangerous. Not every team in the country can do that. North Carolina can do it. Duke can do it. I think Rutgers can do it.
Now the Cards looking up at a 5-point deficit with 5:40 left to go in the half. Putting a lot of ball pressure on that point guard, Charde, with her second foul.
See, and that time Huggins handles it a little bit better. When the hedge comes, she tries to beat the big. That's what you try to do. The hedge is trying to make you go east and west, arc the dribbler.
Now fouls will force Houston to the bench and rock it back in.
Charde ought to be tired. I mean, she has been working hard on the offensive end.
Still kind of get back into shape after an Achilles injury earlier in the year. She looks in pretty good shape to me. From downtown, Covington rims out. Here come the Huskies.
The other thing I like about Connecticut's transition game, man, is they do not need to outlet to the point guard. They can all take it and go.
Now look out. If Mel Thomas starts getting hot from the outside, you've got yourself an awful lot of trouble.
There's only one player in the women's college game that shoots it better from outside the arc than Mel Thomas. That's how good she is outside. Already with over 53-point makes.
And we've got a ways to go in this season. That's how much her shot has developed, and the confidence is there. Nice job that time. And that was Katie Olson going hard to the rack. Maybe just getting a little confidence there for the Louisville offensive club.
You got to attack the basket. Strother gets beat. Thomas tries to rotate over to help. It's a good job by Katie Olson to take her to the hole.
Had a disappointing outing against DePaul by her standards. Would like to get back into the scoring scheme of things. Huskies, by the way, with 6 team fouls. Cards with 8. Olsen gets 2 down, and the points have been hard to come by for Louisville, but they're hanging tough. (33-27). UConn with their patented weave, and somebody's always open. Covington, good board.
If you move without the basketball, and Connecticut is very fluid offensively, you're going to find open shots.
Olsen pulls up, no numbers there. A lot of blue underneath the basket on that one. So much movement, so much flow. Thank you. That's 9 for Montgomery. There are a lot of folks hurting you tonight wearing blue.
Boy, Montgomery comes into the game with 15 3-point makes. She already has 3 in the first half.
And you scout a club and you think, well, she's not going to shoot from 3, is she? A lot of folks hitting the deck on that play. Every possession, every loose ball being fought after. Louisville, a little discouraged right now. They had that early lead, but right now, all UConn. Welcome back to Freedom Hall. Going to give you a little look-see at the UConn school profile. Famous alum Ray Allen still filling him up. Okafor, what a great young talent he is. And, of course, Ted Kennedy Jr. Soccer, awfully big on the campus at Storrs. Men's soccer team have won a couple of NCAA titles, the last one a few years back. Women's team coming on as well. And we already know what Geno's done with his women's basketball program, and that's win, win, and win some more.
Boy, he's been good. I mean, he's the second best winning percentage of active coaches. Look at that record against unranked teams. Louisville's unranked coming in this game. He's going into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in this spring, and he's destined for Naismith's Hall of Fame. No question.
You think of all the 20-win season this guy has racked up. So many 30-win seasons.
Well,
last year, you know, they go 25-8, and folks are, oh my gosh, the sky's falling.
Right, they win 25 games, and the bar is set so high, and that's a byproduct of Geno Auriemma's standards. You know, 10 of the last 12 years, they've won 30 or more games. It's incredible.
You think of all those NCAA appearances and Final Fours and Elite Eights, and you look at last year, you lose in the Sweet 16 and think, gosh, this just wasn't a very good year for us. But boy, what a season they're having this year, riding the ship after that disappointing loss to North Carolina.
Well, I can tell you, nobody wants to see them on their side of the bracket when the tournament rolls around.
I'm with you. Right now, in my estimation, you and I can, we can lock horns a little bit, but I think they're playing Final Four kind of ball.
Well, I think they're getting there. Charde Houston gives them that piece. You know, if she is going to do what she just did in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Oh, boy. There was 1 second on the shot clock. Montgomery knew it, gets the shot off, and it looks like it's a brick, but the foul is called. And she'll go to the line and shoot two.
And that's what happens to young players. McCautry didn't recognize the shot clock and basically bailed Montgomery out. And McCautry is a young player, just a freshman.
Yep. Boy, and that hurts. Because Montgomery steps up to the free throw line as a 76% charity stripe tosser, and you know there's a pretty good chance she's going to make the deficit even tougher to come back from. And Deb, the lead is now a big fat 10. Your big fat hedge just turned into a big fat 10.
And Connecticut coming with a full court pressure. Louisville gets the ball in the middle of the floor.
Huggins not able to slip Soignier or Montgomery and get to the rack.
Let's see if they can get the ball inside to Covington, or how much longer Tom Collin could go with Taylor on the bench.
I'm expecting Takova to do something too. There's Jazz. Big block inside. Rocket. Soignier, what a dish.
Oh, that's just smart. And right now, Connecticut is beating Louisville down the floor with their team speed.
Everybody, it's like a jailbreak wearing blue. 40-28. Huskies up in that lead. Huggins off the weave. Turn the corner a bit. Soignier, nice job, but Huggins gets it down. That's a big bucket. It's been a long, long time since they found the bottom of that hole.
Huggins only averages 3 points a game. She's already way over her average with 9. That's what it takes when you're going to beat a top team. You got to have others make plays.
Amen. And Louisville really breaks a long, cold drought. That's only their second bucket in the last 17 attempts. And that tells you why the deficit is so high. 5 on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper. Rims out. Big board. McCautry showing some athleticism. The kid.
She's got great hops, great athleticism. 6'1" freshman, already with 3 double-doubles on the season.
And 5 boards tonight, off the bench. That lead pass from Jazz, just a little too much for Takova.
And I think Tom Collin would like for Covington to catch it where she's more of a threat offensively. She is better with her back to the basket. That's where she can hurt Connecticut in certain matchups.
McCautry will sit down. Taylor back in. I think it's going to be imperative and incumbent upon Louisville to get Taylor and/or Covington involved quickly the last $1:30 of this half. Keep that deficit under double digits if they can. In other words, starting to play some D. Thomas. Excuse me, that was Turner with Thomas with the rebound. UConn looking for the open player, so patient in their half-court sets.
Huggins doing a good job denying Thomas the ball.
Tokova really thought that she had all ball there, and Turner out-muscled her to the basket.
Nice bounce pass inside, and look how Turner reads the double team, sees Taylor come post to post to help, and then she spins the other way to get to the rim. Good footwork inside by Barbara Turner.
Turner so tough on both ends of the floor. 9 points right there with a 6-foot senior out of Cleveland. Goes to the free throw line, does Turner more than anybody else on this Connecticut club, and usually makes good with her tosses. Big offensive rebound, fresh 30. There's Crockett doing the little things. Geno wants a timeout, wants to make sure that this possession is golden. And you look at how effective and efficient UConn has been, it'd be hard for anybody to keep up with this kind of offensive flow tonight.
Well, everybody has good passing ability. They all can handle in the system, and they have great economy with the basketball, and nobody holds on to it too long. They move without the ball. They're constant motion on the offensive end. I think they're really fun to watch.
And it's been such a great situation for the seniors when you know that they understand it's their last go-round. The underclassmen understand that it's their last go-round. Strother, Turner, Crockett, they've been so good.
Well, Wilnette Crockett gives him great size off the bench at 6'3", and then Ann Strother, a versatile 6'3", can play inside out. Of course, Barbara Turner has great handle, has the ability to get inside, uses her power against smaller defenders, uses her quickness against taller defenders.
They pretty much define UConn basketball. There's Thomas from the outside. Oh, she's starting to feel it.
Well, you got to play her to dribble. She is too good. Catch and shoot. Geno Auriemma called that timeout then because he's playing 2 for 1 right here.
I like that. That was a quick shot, but one right in system for Thomas.
Well, she's got the green light. If she's got a little bit of space.
There's Turner with the swipe.
Here's your 2 for 1 that I was talking about.
You called it. You called it, partner.
They got the last shot. It's a good job by Geno Auriemma to use the 30 then.
You're right. That was a masterful job of coaching. 10. Shot clock is off, of course. Crowd wanted a double dribble there. Turner pulls up. And that'll do it. Charde Houston was so hot midway through that first half, leading the way as the UConn Huskies turn a deficit into a nice big fat lead, 44-30 at the break. Hey, we'll be right back with a special feature on the Cal Golden Bears basketball team and Leon Poe. Right back with that in just a moment. Welcome back to Freedom Hall. If you're a UConn Husky fan, you're digging the way your club is playing, leading Louisville 44-30 at the break. This is a very big game for both of these clubs and an awful lot of other big games and a very busy night for the Big East.
Well, every game is important. You have to protect your home court. That's why Louisville's going to have to make some adjustments in the second half. Connecticut is really playing well. But there's some other teams in the Big East that are playing well tonight as also.
You know, we've been kind of keeping our eyes on some of the scores that are really going to affect the standings because everybody battling for those top 3-4 spots. And look at West Virginia with Meg Bulger on the deck right now, waiting to see what the extent of that knee injury is, Deb, and they're playing awfully well.
Well, they're really rallying, and you have to protect your home court. DePaul coming off of that loss to Connecticut at home on Saturday night. Of course, Villanova playing on the road at South Florida. Interesting contrast of style. Villanova very deliberate. South Florida very athletic, very up-tempo. Be interesting to see how that one plays out. Of course, Notre Dame has been struggling, and they're trailing close to the end of the first half, and an early score, Marquette over Providence.
So when you think about, okay, 8-9 games left in the regular season, the standings and how everybody sits is very important at this point. Everybody chasing UConn and Rutgers, but then we got a bit of a logjam.
How about St. John's? What a great season they're having. They have not been to the NCAA tournament since 1988. I think they're going this year. And then West Virginia, of course, you mentioned the Meg Bulger injury, and Notre Dame really struggling, falling out of the top 25 this week. And there are a lot of teams that have a chance to improve their records to get better seeding going into the Big East tournament.
That's right, because we're rounding things into February. January darn near in the books, and that means just about 7 or 8 regular season games left for everybody. Time for a charge, just like those Huskies.
We've won 5 of the last 6 national championships. We've had 3 different teams in the Final Four during those years, and we've got the best record of any conference in the country in postseason play.
It's going to be tougher than it's ever been, and I think it's exciting for our fans, for our players, for the coaches. I think it rejuvenates everyone.
You think about Notre Dame, UConn, think about Rutgers, Villanova, and I think one coach said it best when he said when you play in the Big East, you're preparing to win a national championship.
We always thought we were the best, and now we're going to prove that we're even better.
4th-ranked UConn leading Louisville 44-30 in Big East women's basketball. They always pack them in here at Freedom Hall. You got to love that. Deb, a lot of highlights to talk about, especially if you're a UConn fan, and some of the biggies have turned up big.
Well, I think they're really flexing their muscle, showing their offensive balance in the first half. You got the right people taking shots if you're Connecticut. Barbara Turner and Charde Houston, a combined 10 for 14 from the floor in the first half. They have over half of Connecticut's points. And on the other side, Jazz Covington, she's the leading scorer for Louisville. She's 1 for 3 from the floor. It's not enough touches. The one basket she scored was away from the bucket. She needs to get in the paint and be effective. How about Missy Taylor? She's got 10 first-half points. She's only had a total of 10 points in the last 2 games combined. That's how good she's been offensively tonight.
She's been great. Most of those points coming early, though, Deb. They've got to get her in the flow again. What numbers stand out to you?
Well, look at rebounding. Louisville really doing a good job of staying on the glass with Connecticut, who has a better rebounding margin than Louisville. But, you know, the steals, Connecticut turning Louisville over and getting easy baskets the other way. They have gotten layups off their defense, and Louisville's got to take better care of the basketball.
You're talking about 14 points off the turnovers. That's what UConn has been able to cash in on as far as Louisville bugaboos turning into positives for them. 44-30. UConn dominating the last 7-8 minutes of this first half to build up that kind of a lead. Strother will try to add to it and does.
Nice piece of execution, just the way Geno Auriemma drew it up at halftime, and gets Ann Strother a great look at the top of the key.
How deflating is that for Louisville?
You know what, that's saying right here, hey, we're the number 4 team in the country. We're going to dice you up here in the second half. That's setting the tone. I mean, Louisville's going to have to really step up their mental toughness, especially on the defensive end. They're just going to have to be tougher.
And you get the feeling a club like UConn likes to go into hostile territory like a Freedom Hall and show what they can do.
And that's what I want to see out of Louisville. That right there. Jazz Covington saying, this is my team, my court. She has to have the ball in her hands for Louisville to have any chance of coming back in the second half.
Turner single coverage. Covington puts a body on her, and there's the rebound, 1 and done for Olsen.
I think you go right back to Covington.
Huggins instead jacks up a tough shot. Thomas thought she got away with a little bit of a walk, but it turns out okay for Louisville. And I like your game plan, number 12. But then again, there's Missy Taylor.
Boy, Taylor, 3 for 3 outside the arc. 5 for 5 in the game. She hasn't missed.
To a tune of 13 points. Strother going up top. Nicely done by Taylor, and Jazz is there to mop up on the glass.
I don't know what Tom Collin was talking about, telling me this afternoon that Missy Taylor's been struggling offensively. She looks great.
He told me the same thing. Look at her going strong to the rack, and Strother is whistled for the foul.
See, that's an interesting matchup. You've got 6'3" Ann Strother, who has a versatile offensive game, going against a mirror image of herself, just not as skilled. That's the 3rd foul on Strother because Taylor's putting the pressure on her. Nice post move. How about that? Tom Collin has her making a 3, then she steps inside with her back to the basket.
Well, that's an athlete, and that's 14 points. Taylor going down last year with that horrible knee injury that basically took her out for most of the stretch run of the season, able to come back for the conference tournament, but boy, did they miss her. And when she's healthy, totally different club.
Oh, and that just explains how tough the kid is. I mean, how much she's willing to get herself in a position to be able to help her team.
47-37, a deficit but 10. That's something you can work on. Louisville's got to feel good about that. 10 on the shot clock. Thomas drives on Neal. Good help defense that time by Taylor. And there's Turner, fresh 30. Renee was feeling it in the first half.
Louisville staying with Connecticut on the glass. A very important stat to follow in the second half. It's going to be about generating extra possessions for Louisville. They're going to have to take care of the ball and get on the offensive glass.
Collin asking for some patience. Taylor inside, nice speed, and there's Olsen with the bucket.
Great ball movement, good patience by Louisville to make the extra pass. See, all of a sudden, Taylor's three-point shooting ability stretches Louisville out. It brings the defense away from the basket.
Crowd's back into it too, Deb. Lead is under double digits. Louisville starting the second half the way they started the first, and that was red hot. Montgomery with another offensive carom. Mel Thomas. There was some good help defense by Louisville. Thomas going for the steal. Instead, the long bomb. Neal finally cashes in.
Neal was the only starter for Louisville that had not scratched in the scoring column until that three-pointer to make it a 5-point game.
How does a 12-0 run grab you? Card fans are saying, hey, we're right here and we're in this thing. 12-0 run, Deb. Collin probably gave him a little bit of an earful. Let's take a look at what's happening around the Big East. First off, bad news, a devastating blow to West Virginia as Meg Bulger goes down with a knee injury during Sunday's game at St. John's. Results of Bulger's MRI are pending. Bulger's season is definitely in the balance, one of the best sharpshooters in the country. St. John's, meanwhile, is off to their best start in over 20 years, thank you very much. And yes, indeed, they have broken into the top 25. Under the guidance of Coach Kim Barnes-Arico, St. John's has doubled their win total in the last 2 seasons and playing some terrific basketball down the stretch. Rutgers remains perfect at 7-0 in Big East play and feeling pretty good about themselves. They meet the other unbeaten club in the conference pretty darn soon, Connecticut at 8-0. Rutgers undefeated as well. Next week, they'll meet in a highly anticipated matchup right here on CSTV. Allow me to get a bit ahead of myself, Deb. Can't wait. Can't wait for that ball game.
That is going to be fun next Tuesday. Anticipating both Connecticut and Rutgers to remain undefeated going into Gamble. It's going to be crowded. It's going to be hot. It's going to be loud. It's going to be really, really fun to be in that environment.
And aren't you just excited for St. John's? This is a club that most Big East teams are saying this team is for real.
Well, Kim Barnes-Arico's done a great job. Again, protecting your home court. There's only 4 teams in the Big East that are undefeated at home. Louisville is one of them. Connecticut, Rutgers, and St. John's the other, and they have not been to the NCAA tournament since 1988. I think they're in. They're going. I mean, they've got February to get themselves ready for the Big East tournament.
And there's been a couple of times today that I've marked down Debbie Antonelli sayings and put dates on them, and that's one that I'm going to bring back, and I'm with you, though, girl. I think you're right.
Well, how about Pittsburgh? I mean, Agnes Baronato has done a great job there. They have never been to the NCAA tournament. They've got a good shot at going. They continue. They got to play well. Mercedes Walker is really good on the inside.
She sure is.
Valerie Wynn gives them balance on the outside.
And Agnes is, oh, could she coach? She can coach the heck out of it. 47-42, the lead is but 5. Charde, if you'll notice, is back into the UConn lineup.
And see what Louisville tries to do with Houston on the floor is they try to double her in the low post. They didn't double Barbara Turner, but that's how much respect they have for Houston. But she is so quick. She reacts before the double team gets set and splits the D.
You know who's got it again? Huggins does a great job closing out. Barlow jacks it up, doesn't get the roll. I'm not sure about that shot selection, Deb.
Well, it just took so long to get it off. I actually thought she was going to shot fake it.
And on the other end, Soigné with those quicks takes it right at Olsen.
Well, the team speed for Connecticut changes when they substitute to the bench.
And the bench has been very, very good for UConn, but Louisville's right back in it. Welcome back to Freedom Hall. The Louisville Cards have climbed right back into this baby, trailing UConn now by just 5. It had been double digits just a short second ago. You know, Tom Collin is known as one of the best recruiters in the country, Deb. You know that, and he'll go near and far to get some of the greatest talent to play for his schools.
Well, he works at it. He's been in the business a long time. He has a strong pedigree. He started as an assistant coach and worked his way through, a head coach at Colorado State. Took them to the NCAA tournament. I mean, 7 consecutive 20-win seasons. You got to have talent, but you got to know what to do with it as well. And very impressed by what he's doing with this Louisville program.
The impact he's made.
Well, the administration is committed to making it successful. And
that's a good point.
If you have that kind of administration, and most clubs in the Big East have that, you're going to find success.
Wherever he went, Utah, Purdue, Arkansas, it didn't matter. He made those clubs better. Colorado State, you mentioned it. And now here, of course, at Louisville, where these folks know their basketball and how. Covington unloads. Look long is long. Renee Montgomery out hustling Barlow for that board. She's surrounded, though.
See, what the full court pressure for Connecticut did is made Louisville take a fast shot. It's exactly what Geno Auriemma is trying to do right here. Change the tempo of the game with his changing defense.
Charde looking for some room to operate. Barlow with a nice job to mop up on the defensive end, and there's Crockett in the inside, establishing position.
And they could go 5 out, spread it out, and allow Crockett to basket cut.
Her first bucket of the game.
Well, I think Geno Auriemma likes that Charde Houston Jazz Covington matchup. Let's see if they go to that next time down the floor.
Johnson toes up the 3, decides against it. 5 on the shot clock. McCautry. She wanted it, she got it.
Boy, she didn't even put the ball on the floor. That's how long and athletic she is. McCautry plays much bigger than her 6-foot frame.
Look at Soignier, though. Blew the layup, but even on makes, Soignier wants to challenge. Shows the quicks. Charde. Little hard off the glass. Loose ball will go Louisville's way. Boy, is Soignier quick. Wow.
So is McCautry. Well, she made a nice move on the other end. Just a freshman.
How good is she going to be?
I think she's going to be really good. She's athletic, great leaping ability, quick off her feet. She's got to continue to polish her offensive skill on the low block. That's going to require individual work. Work in the weight room, work with the basketball. She's committed to doing it, though, according to her head coach, Tom Collin.
And Colin's right. She's tough to scout. She just does so many things, slashing and cutting and getting in the way and passing lanes and disrupting and then just flying to the hoop. She's tough to scout. 6-point UConn lead. We're early in the second half. Entertaining game. Huggins had a notion to step back. Johnson. There's our gal McCautry. Takova got shoved. I think everybody thought she was going to shoot it, Deb.
Connecticut really doing a good job disguising their defenses, making it tough for Louisville. They make them stand around. You see Barbara Turner with a little push from behind. Boy, Mel Thomas doing a great job out in the passing lane.
Johnson whistled for that foul.
I think Mel Thomas has really expanded her game. It's more than just a shooter now. She has really gotten better from last year. When you look at her number, you know, she only averaged only a couple of points last year. She's at 14 points. She's one of the best three-point shooters in the nation. And she works on the defensive end. I think she has a chance to be really special.
Last year, I think some of those injuries kind of got in the way of some flow and development. This year, she's healthy, and she's showing it.
Well, you know, the big thing with Connecticut last year was they turned the ball over too much, and Mel Thomas was a part of that. And this year, she's done a much better job of taking care of the ball.
And hats off to all the gals handling the ball for UConn, because that was the Achilles heel for this Husky Cub last year.
And they still won 25 games.
Yeah. Turner, great ball fake. That's 2.
See, that's the economy with which Connecticut plays offensively, and I say they don't hold the ball long. They pass and they cut. They're constantly moving. They've got great spacing. They read angles. They share the ball.
McCautry runs into her own player on the offensive board. Can't get it down. Huskies want to run. Turner awfully tough to handle. Gives it up. Charde. Barbara Turner with the hustle. How about Charde? And then you know who diving for it. Milt Thomas, you can play on my team any day, any time.
She may not be just the most improved player in the Big East. She may be one of the most improved in the entire country.
This is just a great play by UConn. Hustling. Watch Charde.
Well, Barbara Turner was trying to draw the foul, and look at Milt Thomas hit the deck.
She made a good play on that.
Yeah, I like the way she's worked in the offseason. She spent the entire summer at Connecticut. Maybe 1 week she went home. She worked on her game. She's competitive. She's mentally tough. You got to be mentally tough to play at Connecticut.
Well, and rumor has it that she and Soigné went to a point guard camp.
They did.
And you can really tell by the way these kids are handling the ball.
Well, Dina Evans runs a point guard camp, and Soigné went, Thomas, Ivory Latta, and Alex Miller, the backcourt from North Carolina, went. Dina Evans used to play at Virginia, play with Tanya Cordoza, actually the assistant coach over at Connecticut.
Johnson whistled for an offensive foul there. We're going to go the other way, and don't look now, but the lead is back to 10.
We already talked about Jamel. That's Tanya on the right. Played at the University of Virginia. Geno Auriemma's had this staff together a long time. This is a top-notch staff. Of course, Chris Daly also.
There's CD.
She's been with Geno Auriemma as the associate head coach for as long as he's been there.
And that is a long time. We're talking 21 years. Yeah, baby.
54. Look at the clear out. Geno Auriemma says, everybody go weak side. Let Charde handle it against Jazz.
Holding her own nicely was Covington. Charde's been a bit cruel this half, if you will.
I still like the call.
I do too.
You're making Louisville's best offensive player have to defend Connecticut's best. That's going to wear Jazz Covington down, possibly take away from her offense. So far it has.
That's a great point. McCautry, very active, isn't she? Tom Collins got a good one in this kid. And his club is still battling, but UConn with the lead. It's been a game of runs. Louisville had one to get back in it, but now UConn is starting to pull away again. Still just a 10-point differential, 54-44, and now it's time for the Xbox Live Big Play Replay. Take it away, Deb.
Well, Barbara Turner has been special on both ends of the floor for Connecticut. She's got 11 points in the game right now, and she's just strong off the bounce. Good movement by Connecticut. They clear it out. Turner catches at the top of the key and just sweeps it through. A hard dribble move to the basket and a finish.
One of 3 Connecticut players in double figures, and it's going to be interesting to see how Tom Collins adjusts defensively, Deb.
Well, I don't think that he can have Jazz Covington defending Charde Houston in a one-on-one all game. Let's see if he switches it up to some zone here just to try to take some pressure off of Covington on the defensive end and maybe allow her to be a little bit more impressive on the offensive end, because Houston is a handful.
Well,
there's not many in the country that could guard her when she's on her game.
And it beats you up physically, doesn't it?
It wears down your best offensive player. See what he did. Here's the zone.
Great call.
It's a box and one actually on Thomas, so he did change his defense.
Great ball movement. Crockett can't get it down. Taylor with the nice board. The ball will stay in Louisville's hands. Montgomery, a little token pressure on Huggins. So instead, Johnson will bring it up.
You got to look to Covington if you're Louisville. You have to look inside.
Cautry, wow.
That's good. Just a freshman at 6'1". great length, allows her to play bigger than her 6'1" frame.
And Geno is not happy.
30 seconds.
He's upset with his freshman.
If they were at practice, he'd banish him to the swimming pool, wouldn't he? I guess he can't do that here. I don't think there's a pool around.
He's teaching. It's just his way of going about teaching.
I hear you. I love it. And he'll burn a timeout just to make sure that everybody is in the right place at the right time.
Can't question his success. I mean, check out this X and O right here. We talked about the change in defense. Here's the box and one. It's on Thomas. See how Missy Taylor now is on Charde Houston. It's a nice feed by Montgomery. But Geno Auriemma is upset with her on the defensive end.
McCautry had a free lane to the basket. He's still shaking his head. Montgomery has that shot checked. McCautry has been huge.
Boy, he's saying, I thought I just told you not to do that.
We'll see if Taylor or Covington can help out McCautry in the scoring column. Covington from outside.
I'll tell you what, though, Louisville's defense has made Covington go away from the bucket to catch.
Swiped away from behind.
She is not nearly as effective when she has to face up at three, but she can do that. That's why she needs the ball.
How about the bigs staying down where the bigs can really hurt you?
I'm telling you, Louisville is hanging around, and Connecticut has not been able to put them away, and now the crowd's in it.
Charde getting double team. McCautry going to the floor for that one. 10 on the shot clock. 35's been everywhere. McCautry got hammered pretty good, but still comes down with the board. Louisville, oh, that's when folks get hurt. Louisville's been a little bit careless with that possession. Neal hits the ground very, very hard. Crockett kind of upended her.
And after Charde Houston went 7 for 8 in the first half, she is 0 for 5 in the second. It's a hustle play. It ends up being a foul. It's a momentum swing for Louisville.
Charde and Montgomery take a seat for UConn. Soignier checks back in. Strother as well. Tokova checking in for Louisville. Taylor will have a seat. I like the way that kid plays. Tokova really needs to think about scoring as well. Fresh 30 after that foul. Hawkins just hasn't been able to get on track. Here comes Thomas. Quick move by Turner, but she's got a lot of company. Up top, Soignier. Fake. Strother. Fresh 30. That's a big offensive board for UConn. A little bit of a cold stretch right now for the Huskies. Travel on Strother. CD is saying, everybody just settle down.
Well,
Geno biting his lip.
On the road, had to play at DePaul. One of the top scoring teams in the country in a hostile environment with a 33-game winning streak on the line. They showed mental toughness on the road then. Let's see if they have it here.
Covington draws the foul from Crockett. Big Gal wanted the ball that time.
This is where you want to be a big-time player. You got to bring your A game, and nice job by Covington. Put it on the deck and take advantage of a bigger player. Use your speed. I still think she needs to catch it inside.
They just can't seem to get her posted up effectively down low, can they?
I don't think they're working hard enough to get her the basketball in. You got to be committed to working it into the post.
That's good angle passing. That's ball reversal, everything. Barlow wants everybody to just kind of chill just a second here and get things set up. Covington still far from her normal spot. Inside dish. Slikova. Neal from way downtown. Follows her own shot nicely. Johnson thinks twice with Turner on her. Slikova, nice ball fake in the lane. Louisville ball? Yes. Crockett got hit hard in the chest.
And the leading scorer for Louisville, Missy Taylor, is still on the bench resting. And how much longer Tom Collins can leave her off the floor.
And McCautry has sat down as well. Right now, those two have been kind of the Energizer bunnies for Louisville, as Covington still looking to get on track. Can anybody hit from the outside? Thank you very much. That's her 6th point. There's a gal that will shoot on occasion from the outside. That time it was good to go. What a feed by Turner. Holy smokes.
Patience, composure.
Ups that lead. Back to 4. That 3 was mighty big. Folks are standing on their feet here at Freedom Hall. There's a reason why Louisville wins all these games at home. They got a good crowd behind them, and they feel comfortable in their own digs. Hustle play by Soignier. Nice job by the kid to get in there and force that turnover. Actually force the foul. So Helen Johnson just says, oh, come on now. I'm wide open. I'll show you. I'll show you. Really, I will. We got a game. Just what we were hoping for. What everybody was hoping for here at Freedom Hall. And that is a good down-to-the-wire ball game. We got it. 4th-ranked UConn over Louisville, 56-52, but a long way to go in this baby. And Charde was awfully hot in the first half, Deb, but cooled off a bit in the second half. Why?
Well, she and Barbara Turner are combined 10 for 14 in the first half. They are combined 1 for 8 in the second. You got to give some of that credit to Louisville's defense, but I think Houston has had some good looks. I don't think she's taken a bad shot in the game, and Barbara Turner just continues to work off the basketball. Let's see if Turner can get it going. Houston is still on the bench.
Strother on the floor with 3 fouls. We haven't mentioned her a whole lot as of late. She's been getting some good looks on cue. White ball, Louisville ball. That's a good look for Strother, and she's frustrated just a bit.
It seems to be Connecticut's tendency coming off of timeouts and out-of-bounds plays to look for Ann Strother.
3 for 11 from the floor. Just 1 tray out of 6 attempts.
Zone by Connecticut.
They like that?
I think they've mixed it up well. They're just trying to make Louisville think.
Taylor back on the floor. You wanted it, you got it, Debbie Antonelli. Huggins had a notion. 5 on the shot clock. Johnson feeling awfully good.
5 of the last 6 games Louisville's played have been against top 25 competition. They were ready for a night like this.
Soignier trying to stem the tide. Instead, Jazz Covington, she may not score a whole lot right this very second, but that was a heck of a board. That's 7 for her. Covington thinking more. Spin move. Great defense by Crockett. Johnson, come on now. Crockett again. Neal was there, but clobber Strother. Nice transition work by UConn.
Yeah, using their team speed, attacking the rim. Doing a nice job rebounding out of that zone. But I'm telling you, Tom Collins done a great job getting his team ready. They only scored 44 points in the entire game against DePaul. They already have 55 in the second half.
8th point for Strother. Excuse me, Deb.
No, against the number 4 team in the country. I mean, the best crowd they've ever had that wasn't a doubleheader with the men. the highest ranked opponent that has ever been in this building in women's college basketball is what we're seeing tonight. And his team was ready. You know, there's a lot of pressures that come with all those things, where they seem to have handled it very well.
So the lead is but a deuce. Louisville can grab the lead or tie. Covington. Double. Charde showed that nice double.
Go back to Covington. One-on-one.
Still that 2-point difference.
Well, you still go to Covington, and she's your best shooter. She shoots it better from the floor than anybody for Louisville. She's your leading scorer on the season.
Montgomery from way downtown. McCautry with another board. Or maybe you look for Taylor, Deb. Is that an option too?
I think that is an option, but I think Connecticut, quick shooting. They've had success when they've reversed the basketball.
Turner whistled for that foul.
And see, because Missy Taylor has been so good without the ball, Barbara Turner draws that assignment. I think Barbara Turner can be one of the best defenders in the entire country.
So strong, so physical, and so smart.
Athletic, can guard multiple positions. She can guard a point guard. She can guard a post player.
Taylor will take a hike for a few minutes. Tokova back in. Louisville trying to get that bucket to tie things up or maybe take the lead again. They've had their chances.
Back in the zone by Connecticut. Trying to match up with the shooters on the perimeter.
Offense spread out. Oh, there was Jazz inside. Johnson didn't see her.
She didn't even look at her.
Boy, and Jazz had single coverage too. McCautry with that ball stripped, and here comes UConn. Johnson with the angle trying to find stop Montgomery instead. Renee, and one. That's big.
If you're going to commit this foul and you're a young player, you got to commit it so they don't make the layup.
Charde getting in the middle defensively, and then Renee mopping up on the other end. 3-point play. Well,
Charde Houston
maybe
is in
not.
the lane
Thank you.
soon.
Okay.
That takes the point away.
And every point is at a premium in a close ball game like this. 59-55, 4:40 to go. Huskies trying to hang on to the lead. Again, single coverage with Covington. But a little far off her mark on that one. 5 on the clock. Johnson wanting to do it all from the outside. Goodness sakes, young lady.
Are you kidding me? 12 points for Johnson.
She averages 8.5, and it's not like you're going to look to her to be your 3-point threat. Goodness sakes.
All 3 3-pointers in the second half.
She waited till there was 2 on the shot clock to deliver that dagger. Charde. Everybody was hoping for a walk, including Colin. Fans are into this one. I kind of like that. And they're not afraid to let everybody know it, too. Charde getting off the schneid a little bit there, 61-58. Oh, boy. Tokova. Oh, how did that ball stay out? She got a gift with the deflection, Deb, and I thought that was going to be and one. So, Helen Johnson, where have you been? Where have I been? I've been out here on the perimeter, hitting threes. That's where I've been. What a game. NCAA basketball on CSTV has been brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Oh, that's precious. I love it. UConn up by 3, and now let's take a look at the drive to the hoop, brought to you by Volkswagen. Deb.
Renee Montgomery on the steal. Gets the foul, goes to the line, doesn't get the free throw because Charde Houston stepped into the free throw lane too early.
But a heck of a finish all the same. That little freshman can play. She just got her ear chewed off by Geno. Comes back and makes the big play, and Tokova clanks that first free throw. Usually a 69% free throw shooter. Sophomore from Ukraine.
Tom Collin found her on a recruiting trip with the volleyball coach here from Louisville, who's from Russia. So there's a lot of tall women over there you might be able to use on your team, Coach Collin. Why don't you come with me?
That's sweet. 2-point ball game, Debbie Antonelli, 3:30 to go.
Oh, this is a series that Diana Taurasi became one of the all-time greats on, the 1-4 high.
And there the kid. Montgomery, cool as a cucumber. 4 threes for that kid. Season high, how about it?
And Jazz Covington runs to the rim, faces the ball, and is going to the free throw line. Watch the nice kick by Houston. Draws the help. Montgomery spots up outside the arc.
What does that tell you about Montgomery, who was literally for that 2 or 3 minutes in the doghouse with Geno, comes right back out and says, I'm okay, coach.
Mental toughness. Mental toughness, saying, Coach, I hear you. I want to be your point guard. I'm going to do what you say.
It shows you something right there. And UConn knows that if they can take care of business tonight, and they've had a pretty tough schedule, they still got a couple of toughies on the road, but I think February looks pretty darn good for the UConn Huskies.
Got to play at West Virginia, most likely without Meg Bulger. We're still waiting on a report from her. MRI has not revealed the results publicly yet, but we saw at halftime that the knee injury doesn't look good for them, and that's a 20-point score for West Virginia that they will lose.
You talk about stretching the defense. But this is a club, UConn, that if they take care of business tonight, that is going to set up one heck of a showdown next week with Rutgers. Everybody picked Rutgers 1 and UConn 1 and 2 in this conference.
Well, Rutgers would pick to win it. Connecticut second.
Yep.
Connecticut has won 11 of the last 12 Big East regular season titles.
Covington with her 10th point, and that keeps it a one-possession ball game.
Connecticut ready for the full court pressure, handles it well. See, it only takes them 6 seconds to beat the pressure. They still have plenty of time to execute.
And the ball got into the right hands with Montgomery setting things up. Charde working hard inside. Boy, and Turner delivers.
Great execution by Connecticut. You talk about wanting a basketball in a late game situation. That's all over Charde Houston.
Eyes were big as dinner plates. She wanted that thing so badly. Taylor, nice job inside to answer.
Nice job to clear out the weak side and allow Taylor to go one-on-one.
15 points now for Taylor. She's been wonderful tonight.
And see, with Ann Strother at 6'3", she can get to the middle of the floor and be a great ball handler with size.
We're just about at the 2-minute mark. 3-point Husky lead. Strother usually pulls the trigger on that shot. That's a great no call by the refs. Here comes Louisville. Covington wants to go one-on-one against Mel. And one, Deb.
Covington involved in the double team on the baseline on Turner, and then look at a little in-out move. Thomas can't get there in time. Great finish by Covington.
Boy, and the bench is up, the crowd is up. Jazz playing like an All-American, the All-American that she is, a very, very special talent. Covington completes the three-point play, and we are tied up with $1:50 to go. UConn with 9 team fouls, by the way. And Louisville still bringing some heat. Boy, the crowd wanted another turnover. UConn corrals the loose ball. Montgomery.
Oh, big
clutched.
move. Huge. 17 for Montgomery.
And she saw that crease in the lane and said, it's all mine with the quicks. The lead is back to a deuce. Covington's got 10 on the clock. Huggins downtown. McCautry scrambling for it. Instead, Strother comes up with a great save out of bounds by Annie.
Right here, Louisville needs to play great defense without fouling. They can get a stop, and Geno Auriemma wants a timeout.
In front of over 9,000 here at Freedom Hall. We have all been treated to an incredibly wonderful game, Deb.
Well, there's a lot of people in this building that have never been to a women's college basketball game. How could they not come back? Watch Montgomery split the D and then the extension to use the glass and finish on the other side of the basket. Yeah, she wants to be Geno Auriemma's point guard. She's doing a great job.
And she is his point guard.
She has 4 rebounds to go along with her 17 points. 3 players in double figures for Connecticut. And Charde Houston leading the way with 18. But only 4 points in the second half.
Other folks have had to become scorers, and Montgomery has delivered in a big way down the stretch from the outside and on the inside.
You know, the tendency for Connecticut coming out of a timeout has been to get the ball to Ann Strother. She's going to inbound it. A lot of times the inbounder gets it back.
Under a minute to go. The lead is a deuce, and a minute is eternity for both these clubs. Who are you going to throw the ball to? Annie finally gets it in.
Oh, look at the mismatch. Look at on the inside. Strother's calling for the ball.
Instead, there's only 7 on the shot clock.
She's got a 5'4" player, Gardner. She's 6'3" with 5'4", and she's saying to Charde, didn't you see me calling for the ball?
Boy, and that was as big a mismatch as we've seen all night long. Now, UConn has bailed out a bit because of the fact that Montgomery will go to the free throw line as Taylor checks back in. But you're right. That looked like an easy deuce, and could have taken that right to the hole. Montgomery is 76% free throw shooter. She's sitting on 17 points. Had 13 against DePaul and 3 steals.
He's been big to make it a 2-possession game.
There you go.
She has not missed from the free throw line tonight.
Kid just keeps growing up right in front of your very eyes, doesn't she?
She does. She's really been impressive tonight. Look for some token pressure from Connecticut. You do not need the 3. You need to attack the basket. Tom Collin wants to make sure his club understands they want to score quickly.
I was going to ask you the very same thing. If you're Tom, what do you want your club to do?
Well, I think you can get a quick basket and then bring the full court pressure again. What a game. Been fantastic. Both these coaches making good adjustments, putting their team in a position to win.
At the beginning of this Big East season, I remember, Deb, you saying, look for clubs like Louisville, for USF. Watch the DePauls. Watch the Marquettes. These are new clubs in this Big East that will make an impact.
Well, and they're all tournament teams from a year ago, and that's why the Big East has just gotten bigger and better.
Keep in mind the timeout situation. Louisville with a couple. UConn with that singleton. Both racking up the team fouls, and the very important possession arrow belongs with Louisville.
That's why if you can get a quick 2 right here and then bring the pressure, maybe get a jump ball or a steal.
Taylor, Covington, the magic of Johnson from the outside.
Connecticut switching on everything.
Quick hands of Charde, almost knocks that ball free. There's only 10 on the clock. Nice look inside. Neal did not panic, got it to Jazz.
Timeout, Louisville. Now they can set their D.
15 seconds left, 15 for Jazz.
Well, that's why you substitute Neal on the floor. You get a senior who has bigger game experience than the freshman McCautry. That's exactly the substitution Tom Collin made while Montgomery was on the free throw line, and Neal makes a big play.
And now, if you're Tom, do you put McCautry back in for defensive purposes?
I think she's your best defender. I would say so.
We'll soon find out. Each club now with 1 timeout left. 15 seconds left. Huskies by a deuce. 1 possession ball game.
And now you've got to go for the steal. And then if you don't get it, quickly commit the foul, or else Connecticut can dribble out the clock.
And you've got your good hands people on the floor for UConn.
Well, you got all guards, but Geno Auriemma likes to play with that all guard line.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're small just because they're all guards. Of course, they inbound it to the right person. I mean, the best free throw shooter, 87.5%, is Ann Strother from the line. She's 1 for 2 in the game.
She makes both here, and it becomes very tough on Louisville. So Collin trying to figure out who he wants on the floor. McCautry will sit down again. You bring up the great point of Neal being on the floor, making sure the offense is doing exactly what it needs to be doing. 1-and-1 for Strother. Both clubs with 9 team fouls. Double bonus coming up. Johnson will take a seat. She's had a fun game, hasn't she? But it's going to come down to the savvy senior. Strother gets the first one down. 3 for 11 from the floor, Deb. But who else would you rather have at the charity stripe?
This is the one. And Louisville's going to have to look for the 3.
Uncharacteristic miss again. But how about it? Renee Montgomery coming down with the offensive rebound on the miss. Wow.
I don't know how Louisville does not get the rebound off the missed free throw when Connecticut doesn't have anybody on the line. Geno Auriemma puts all 4 of his players back behind Strother, and Montgomery with the savvy to hustle after the long rebound.
Maybe that was the key. It was so long. Boy, you're right. Out of nowhere comes Montgomery.
You have got to be kidding me. What a break for Connecticut.
If I didn't see that with my own 2 eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
I mean, you wouldn't expect Strother to miss the free throw, and that's probably why Geno Auriemma didn't have anybody on the line, but he didn't want to risk fouling.
Sure. And that would have set Louisville up for a best-case scenario. Strother missing 1. Hey, maybe we can tie this thing up at the buzzer. Instead, with 12 seconds to go, it's UConn's ball with the 3-point lead. And feeling pretty good about their chances in this one. That was huge.
Now Montgomery's hustle puts her on the free throw line. She can make it tough with a couple of made free throws, and she has not missed from the line today. 4 for 4. But she's made the big play. She's led them in scoring, 22 points, 7 for 11 from the floor, 4 3-point makes, 5 rebounds for the point guard.
None bigger than that last one. Charde's got 6 boards, but we're talking about a 5'7" point guard grabbing all those caroms. 5'7" tops, by the by. Calmly hitting those last 2 when they were so very important. There's not a look of worry on her face, is there?
No, now you put the best 3-point shooters on the floor if you're Louisville, and that's who Tom Collin has. Look for Missy Taylor to be the one that might be able to make the 3.
But now we're talking about a 2-possession ball game, and with 12 seconds left, Lightning better be in a bottle, and it better be wearing Louisville white. Boy, that kid, clutch.
Look at her
In the
with
pit.
steal. You're kidding.
Now, and look at her, so smart.
Can we name a player of the game?
We sure can.
Because she's got my vote.
It was just a few minutes ago when Geno called a timeout just to give her an earful. She took that, took his advice, if you will, and turned that into an unbelievable performance down the stretch. She was big from inside, outside, free throw line. Keep it coming. Keep it coming, Renee.
Well, it was Charde Houston in the first half when she went 7 for 8 from the floor. And not only has Montgomery scored and rebounded, she has not turned the ball over either. 2 turnovers in the game.
That's complete. Johnson will jack up another 3. And that'll do it. What a fabulous, fabulous basketball game. And Renee Montgomery was all of that and then some. Geno, Colin, have got to congratulate each other on a magnificent game, Deb.
Well, you got to give the credit to Connecticut. They made all the big plays, and on this night it was Renee Montgomery. But Louisville, what a battle. An unranked team taking on the top-ranked team in the Big East.
75-68. Geno saying, whew, boy, we needed that. Welcome back to Freedom Hall. 4th-ranked UConn holding off a very game Louisville club, 75-68. Debbie Antonelli, you and a very relieved Geno Auriemma.
Well, you're absolutely right, Ann. Well, Coach, congratulations. You know, with Charde in the first half, how big was Renee Montgomery's play in the second?
Well, you know, Renee's kind of a cool customer, you know. She doesn't get rattled by anything. She just thinks that she can do anything out there. And, you know, we knew that they weren't going to let Ann and Mel get free, and we knew somebody else was going to have to take a lot of shots. And to her credit, she stepped up and didn't play at all like a freshman.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. You said the league was tough all the way through, and let's get it back over to you.
Deb, thanks very much. Congrats to Coach Geno. What a ball game here at Freedom Hall. UConn, the 4th-ranked Huskies, outlasting a very good Louisville club, 75-68. For Debbie Antonelli and our entire CSTV crew, I'm Ann Schatz. For more, log on to CSTV.com, the ultimate destination for scores, news, highlights, and analysis. This has been a presentation of CSTV, college sports television, #1 in college sports. So long, everybody, from Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. And again, thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.